He said this during his familiarization visit to the dam on Thursday. He said the initial tender for the dam was 3.8 billion Namibian dollars, but because of numerous reasons, the bill increased to 5.7 billion Namibian dollars, which ate into the financial capacity to develop the second phase of the development. Still from the south, Kara's Governor Aleta Frederick has urged NamWater management to take into consideration the current economic challenges when considering disconnecting the water supply of Bethany due to unpaid debts. Frederick was speaking at the site handover of a desalination plant by Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kale Schlepping. And now we move on to our COVID-related news. By Wednesday, Namibia recorded a cumulative total of 12,460 cases of the new coronavirus, with the top of the curve still bending towards a leveling. However, over the last 7 days, the national average of new cases per day increased from 46 to 51. This can largely be attributed to outbreaks at the Oshakati Senior Secondary School and Oluno Prison. The average daily number of new cases in the Oshakati district jumped from 5 to 22 over the last 2 weeks. Averages for the districts of Onanjokwe, Oshwarongo, Okahanja and Rieboth declined to less than 2 new cases per day. But Walvis Bay and Swakopmund are both back on the map with rounded averages of 2 new cases per day. In the Kunene region, Opuwo joined this group of towns after 13 cases were recorded at the holding cells and police station last Thursday. Now remember, let us all do our part to continue to bend the curve downward. And now for our first video insert for the day. The Shack Dwellers Federation received land from the Swakop municipality for 31 houses in Mondesa. This clip was submitted by Irene Marie van der Veld.
Governor, for your statement and also in providing national context. So this is not just one isolated event. The national drive to give dignity back to our people. Thank you very much. We will be seated.
As part of the annual Rail Safety Week by All Southern African Railway Association, Transnamib recently held a demonstration for residents of Omashaka location level crossing in Ondangwa in a bid to enhance support of railway safety standards. Transnamib staged a rail accident and showed how responsive the ambulance and the motor vehicle accident fund are. Watch in the video paramedics attending to the injured persons. Tuyemo Haidula submitted this clip.
party going on in here.
And now we move on to the front pages of our newspaper dailies. Hitting the headlines of the Namibian Sun, all eyes will be on President Hage Geingob, who will have the final say on the appointment of the country's new prosecutor general amid ongoing corruption investigations that have tainted both his administration and the ruling party SWAPO. The Allgemeine Zeitung leads with the relaxation of corona requirements that has brought great relief for the Namibian tourism industry. This amidst accommodation occupancy statistics that were alarmingly low in the past 7 months. Similarly, Republican also leads with tourism, reporting that according to the most recent statistics from the Hospitality Association of Namibia, occupancy rates for July, August and September dropped to below 8% compared to 64% in the same period last year. On the front page of the Namibian, another fish rot report, this time on the rise and fall of James Atrukulipi, the man accused of masterminding the country's biggest fishing corruption scandal. Speaking of the fish rot scandal, taking the lead on the new era, President Hage Geingob has commended Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg for her government's cooperation into the ongoing criminal investigations into the fish rot scandal. And now we move to inside the newspaper dailies. The Namibian reports that the 2 women who were arrested and charged last week for the death of baby Nangula face a count of culpable homicide for allegedly assaulting and beating her, as well as placing her in a bowl of hot water for an entire day. Inside the Namibian Sun, the report that Air Namibia is unable to offer refunds to passengers who made bookings prior to the coronavirus state of emergency in March. As a result, the airline is now asking passengers to seek alternative dates for travel. Inside Republican today, the Okanja municipality confirmed that plans are underway to move the more than 5-hectare landfill near the Ekunde Extension 5 informal settlement to a new area for health and safety reasons. However, those living close by and eking out a living from the dump site don't want it to move. Reported in the AZ on page 3, after a 2-day agriculture conference in September, the Line Ministry is now consulting with the Economic Association of Namibia on the search for a modernization and revitalization of this important trade sector. Inside the new era, the Namibian Bus and Taxi Association has welcomed the relaxation of COVID-19 measures, making it easier to transport passengers. And in today's edition of Chill, check out what Michael Kayunde has to say about Kwaito star Marcus Haufika's album set to be released next week. Also, don't miss today's edition of Careers in all NMH dailies for the latest from movers and shakers in the business sector. And now we move on to our interview segment for today. FNB's Tracy Eagles chats about the bank's involvement with the Namibia Tourism Expo. This clip was originally posted by Tourismus Namibia.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back. As you can see, I'm being joined by Tracy Eagles, Chief Marketing Officer of First Rand Namibia. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Frank.
It's not every day that we've got this sort of interview. Normally we talk about sticks and stones, but welcome, Tracy. I'm so glad because we've got 250,000 Namibia dollars, which First Rand, or for that matter, FNB, First National Bank, is supporting us in the initiative for Namibia Tourism Expo 2020, where we're giving away free tickets. But before we go there, just quickly explain your role in the company and what you do more or less.
So the title Chief Marketing Officer generally means Chief Bottle Washer.
Okay, good
Kind of,
stuff.
so you get involved with everything, pretty much anything to do with communications in the business. So whether it's an SMS that comes through for any of the particular brands to you, or to the annual report, for example, and editing and proofing that, and investor relations. And I'm really, really lucky because I have a fantastic team. So marketing reports to me, research reports to me, customer strategy, particular love and passion point for the group. And aside from that, of course, events, marketing, sponsorships, foundation.
Okay.
So I get all the good
that's exactly
stuff.
the reason why you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but before we even go beyond that, COVID-19, it's obviously on everybody's mind. And how did you treat it in your office in this year?
So two ways, actually. One particularly was immediately what can we do for the market?
Okay.
And understanding that some things literally ground to an absolute halt. Others did their best to struggle along. But each of them, particularly the customers that had been in good standing with us, it's a long-term partnership if you're in good standing with the bank for a long time. And so our role very much was to say, in F&B particularly, is where are you? How can we be part of helping you to sustain yourself through this time? And so along with initiatives like the government's COVID relief package, we also did a number of reworking, restructuring of loans, consolidating of debt counseling, as well as payment holidays over that time. And then I think also one of the things that we were quite proud of is when the basic income grant came out, or for the pandemic, is that around about 1.5 million of the people that were on that list had said that of all the banks, in that 70% of it wanted to have it paid by e-wallet.
Wow.
So we were quite excited about that.
Sure.
So that's really kind of what F&B as a brand is about, is making things accessible and easy and convenient. And then digitally, of course, is the way that we are operating now.
Okay. Talking of digitally, that's where we're going with the Namibia Tourism Expo this year. And obviously with you on board now, this is very exciting stuff. I think you must have been blind if you haven't read in any of the NMH papers up to now that we're giving away free vouchers to the value of Namibia 1,000, which you can win in various ways, taking part in competitions in the papers, on our internet sites and so on. And it's all about being able to have 1,000 Namibia dollar voucher as a discount voucher, really, because you need to use it as a voucher during the NTE. And the idea is obviously for people to support tourism and book their stay at the Namibia Tourism Expo, which is due to be held on the 4th of November leading up to the 7th, which will be the highlights, obviously. So what made F&B decide to actually support that initiative? Because 250,000, clearly you've got an idea of what you would like to achieve with this.
Yeah, so our support is to the Tourism Expo has been a lot wider than that. So we've been a partner for 3 years.
Exactly.
And obviously things have changed over these years. We've had really great themes around energy. We've had the environment. All of those things were very important. And then COVID came.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what? And so a reworking of the format of the Tourism Expo was quite important to us. And taking something digitally in a way that says we can try to be different. A little bit earlier, you and I were talking about what do we do to really inspire people to be different in this time? Because the environment, let's face it, is suffering. And they're suffering also psychologically. It's financially, yes, but they've tried so many things.
Yeah.
They've tried retrenching, they've tried skeleton staff, they've tried coming back out of retirement to keep things going.
Yeah.
And yet, it's just that impetus to get people to move and do something different. So offering these vouchers is actually a very exciting way, because wherever you can pick up a voucher, it means, you know what, depending on where you want to book, that could be the night. That could just be a wonderful time to just relax and take advantage of the great lodges that we have. And if you feel like splurging a little bit, then you take that 1,000 and you put it with something else and you book another couple of nights somewhere. But it's really about putting some kind of impetus into the market. So, let's just give someone a chance to go, if I had it, I would consider that. But right now, to get them out of that,
getting them out of that lethargy, and just make everybody realize that if we don't get up, nobody will.
Nobody will. It's just the pure weight of things.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a touch of sunshine and says, maybe let's think about it because I've got it now. It's very
just
exciting.
remember, you don't need to be a customer of F&B just to qualify for that. This is really an initiative which F&B simply supports. It's for all of us.
Yes.
So it's for all of us to decide whether we want to go on leave and take a chance, go to the expo, maybe find a nice leave idea or destination that you've never been to that you would never afford normally, because obviously this is a combination effort. The tourism sites themselves obviously are offering special deals, so it might just be that you get out of there and suddenly find that you haven't even paid half of your normal stay.
Yeah. So yes, it is. I would encourage all of the F&B customers to try and make sure you get your hands on a voucher somewhere.
Yeah. Get some of your money back.
Come on, let's support this initiative. But then also, banks' roles in society is much wider than just their customer base.
Yeah.
It starts with their customer base, and we hope that we treat them well enough that others go, I want to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
But beyond that, we have a societal role as well that says we know that there's an issue in this industry, and we want to partner them to somehow make a difference, and just that drive, that little bit of an impetus, that hooks to it.
So where else in the tourism sector are you then involved?
So we have, we hold about 40% of the market generally as F&B.
Okay.
So customer base is very strong. And so that as a proxy, we're very much involved in a number of tourism endeavors, whether it be from car rentals through to lodges. One of the things that's been of concern for those customers of ours that actually do car rentals is, of course, this issue now with the border. And
then to just add it to the problem.
It's such a pity because in Africa we like to drive. We'd like to have that sense of independence and be able to drive across. We have international tourists too go into South Africa, then drive through to us. Look at the flowers on the way. So sorting out the land tourism aspect is vital at the moment. I don't know what the stats are in terms of lodges, but I think it would be a good exercise to run is how many people arrive there in their cars as opposed to being fetched from the airport.
And that's exactly, as Tourism Namibia, or Tourismus Namibia for that matter, we will take a new approach as from November going forward, where we start introducing the concept of 10 degrees south, where the idea is not only to promote Namibia anymore, but actually look to Botswana, South Africa. We're already starting to do it in our magazine. So I totally agree with you that typically people would land in Windhoek and drive to Vic Falls or wherever else they go, or the other way around. They'll land there and come to Namibia and look at Etosha and so on.
But Namibia as a hub is the best place for everyone, actually, because it's generally a safe environment. We are, of course, experiencing some very real internal issues around gender-based violence at the moment, and I'm sure the international market is looking at us very strongly on that. Those things affect tourism, so it's important that we get these things right, because this is a perfect hub for a 10 degrees south environment. If people came in here, everybody could come in here and move from here out. I mean, what a win for us.
And by the way, I totally hear you when you say that gender-based violence is an issue. It is a serious issue. But let's be fair with each other. I think it has been on the cards for a long time. It's just a case of suddenly people have had enough. So to suddenly say, oh, suddenly this is a different country, that's not quite true. I think you're just as safe in Namibia as you were like 3, 4, 5 months ago.
It's definitely, I think safety is something that we generally are able to offer all the time. It's become a far more woke world. Where people are wanting to go to places that are sustainable, that are looking to organic opportunities, that are employing locally, that are building capacity and sustainability. So, internal issues like this that can be solved need to be off the table. That's my opinion
about it, all of it. I think we're a small enough country in terms of people that we can solve our problems. Talking of NTE, will F&B be there? Do you have a stand?
Of course. We're always there. Wherever our customers are, we are.
Okay.
So, of course, we'll be there. And we'll be particularly punting our alternative channels. So, stay out of the branches. No need for you to go to branch. Everything is on your app. Also, the other thing about the app, of course, is, again, that ease of it, is that we zero rate the airtime on it. So you do have to have your airtime on, but it doesn't use it.
Okay.
It's just, it has to be on, but if you actually could run a meter, you'd see that you don't actually
charge,
use,
yeah.
we don't charge for it. So we pay for that. So all your banking essentially is right in your hand without you having to pay petrol, go stand in a queue, lose hours from
Adding
work.
over and above the $1,000 Namibia dollar voucher.
Yes.
If you really think about it.
It is,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Tell me finally, F&B going forward into 2021, what are your immediate plans? How do you see yourself being involved in reinvigorating the tourism trade? Not only the tourism trade, but Namibia as such.
Yeah. So it's a bigger narrative. As a group, F&B is obviously our anchor brand,
Yeah.
and the role that it has to play is very much around supporting the customer base, opening opportunities for the customer base to look at things differently, especially in a constrained environment. Speaking about tourism, it's how do you encourage someone to think beyond the way they've always done things? And so what kind of platforms can we put in place for that? And we'll be looking at opportunities for engagements, for people to talk about new ideas. So innovation is a big thing of ours.
Yeah.
So we'd like to push that. But our bigger narrative is very much around making Namibia globally competitive. So we have big, audacious goals as a group.
But that's really much in line with 10 degrees south. We've decided to look beyond the borders of Namibia, and I think that's really what's got to happen. We're part of the bigger picture.
We can't
COVID
keep,
has
we
really
can't
taught
keep
us
playing just internally. We actually need the world, and the world absolutely would benefit from us.
Yeah, I think well, none needs us, but could do well with us.
Yes.
Yeah. So any final thoughts before we part?
I've always loved the Tourism Expo. I've been part of it one or the other in my career since it started. Way back when Glenda and I would have new ideas about how could we do this. So it's a kind of thing that's close to my heart. But it's important to me that it stays relevant. So finding the things that make sense, that maybe will just help people to think differently, is very much part of F&B's how can we help you positioning. And we're happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much,
and
Frank.
see you in the near future at the NTE.
Definitely see you there.
Okay.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of our show. I've been your host, Priska Anyolo, and thank you so much for joining us here on NMH at 1. However, do stay tuned for an impressive video showcasing the beauty of the rock formations of the Erongo region. Just a little treat for the weekend. Goodbye, Namibia.